Hello,
Hello
and welcome
to
episode
2
of the Classic Podcast
Classic Podcast with Alex Maxted.
and Johnny Whiting.
Today, how are you? First off, Johnny, how are you doing?
Since the last we spoke,
Since so long ago when
yes,
we last
for you lot
spoke.
it's been 2 weeks, hopefully. For us, it's been 2 minutes.
2 minutes. We had to not talk to each other that
Already,
entire time.
already sick of each
We are
other.
sick of one another. Yeah, send help.
But here we are on the Classic Podcast, showing that classical music is fun, and you don't have. It's not all that serious. Why are you laughing?
It's just funny.
Okay,
When somebody
good.
says it's not serious, I want to laugh.
Well,
Proving your
okay.
point.
Well, thank you very much. Anyway, today I thought we'd talk about. Well, we were talking about what we'd speak about today, and we went for something a bit spicy, I'd say, and it was our
Spicy.
classical music hot take.
Yes, exactly. Hot takes, inspired by the subway takes, doing hot takes.
Yeah.
Our hot takes are
Classical
popular
hot
opinions.
takes, yeah.
Classic hot takes. About kind of our unpopular opinions or things we feel strongly about that are being done at the moment in this world.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, classical music is brilliant, it's joyful, la da da da. But you do get a lot of people that sort of feel like they can't say anything bad, or they can't sort of admit that they don't like a very famous piece of music, or like they're not that into
Absolutely. Yes.
Tchaikovsky, whatever, and they feel like they can't say that, or
For sure.
they
There are
don't
definitely-
understand
yeah,
it, or they don't get modern music, or whatever.
There are certainly things that are like unsaid.
Yeah,
I feel,
exactly.
in the
It's like, oh, you don't
classical
like
world, which
Bach,
we
then
need
you
to be
aren't a
like,
real.
No, come on.
Yeah, you don't like Bach,
Say
then you're
these
not a real
things.
musician.
Yes, say these things. And I'm sure Johnny and I will disagree about some of these
Oh,
things.
I'm hoping we
might
disagree.
really.
I'm hoping we do,
I'm sure we can try. We can. if
and I
try
know
hard
we will.
enough. Do you want to kick us off?
No,
No.
Sorry.
That was quick.
sorry, I
Um,
wasn't ready.
I do have one in my mind that is kind of, I don't know, this is something that I feel like specifically when you and I have last been to the couple of things that we've seen at the
Yeah,
opera
yeah, yeah.
recently, this has ground my gears because I feel like everyone's doing it and it's just such a lazy choice these days. And that is staged overtures.
Oh,
just-
okay.
I have a problem with it because why is it always the main characters as children running around? I've seen 3 of the same things.
It is.
It's so often, and it's just such a lazy choice. And I think as viewers, it is just a little bit patronizing that kind of we won't understand the plot, so they have to do cute little children doing the plot, and then suddenly we'll understand. And I think I wouldn't, if it had real relevance to the plot, I think I would understand, or like it was like something really new being done with this piece. But it's just specifically because I've seen 3 with the exact same stage.
They do like
overture.
and actually, now you're saying that everything is falling into place, and every time they do staged, it's like, this is like you see them as a child, then they're growing up,
Yeah,
then something dramatic
exactly.
happens in their
And they're
past.
always wearing like a tiny version of the main character's
Yeah.
outfit, which
And
is
then there's
hilarious.
one
It's like
bit
they've
where
never
one
changed
run
clothes.
off stage, and the actual actor coming in runs in at the same
Exactly, and
time.
it's like,
That happened in the Royal Opera House production of the Sicilian Vespers.
yes, but there was also, didn't they do it again for the Handel one that we saw?
Which Handel one was he? Penelope?
No.
You've only seen Penelope.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. What was it?
but they're all the same.
They are all the same.
Radamisto. No,
No, it begins with an A.
honestly, Ariadante.
Ariadante, that's the one. We got there
Honestly,
in the end.
I go to
Cenerentola, they did it as well at ENO. Like
With-
the same thing.
with Handel's. I find that I feel like he's still writing them. I'm hearing like, oh, they were putting on the production of this. It's like, I've never heard of this before. Was it new? Where's it
Yeah.
come from?
The other one like that is Donizetti because there genuinely are like undiscovered ones that they're still.
Yeah, no fair, and they're all the same.
Emilia di Liverpool, that's funny. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
Emilia
the
of Liverpool.
Yeah, Emilia di
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah.
They don't
Yes,
set operas in this
Donizetti.
country.
Yeah, there
It's
is.
not very
This
fashionable.
one set in Liverpool. Wasn't it Maria Malibran died up north as well? Staged overtures, I think there's nothing wrong with having the curtains closed. I think that, and opening it up at some point, and then you go into the performance.
I'm gonna have to counter you just because my experience with like putting on shows.
Yeah.
Like And then when you do go and see a show and you're just sat there during an overture, it feels weird.
I disagree. I really disagree.
But because we're seeing them staged so often,
Yeah.
and you're sat there and the music's playing, and I mean,
That's very interesting, though. So, do you think that the staged overtures thing has been done so much that now the other way around would feel really odd?
yes, I think that's exactly what's happened, and especially because a lot of I say later operas, but sort of Puccini onwards and before actually.
Yeah.
Unlike some of the Verdis go into it quite quickly
Yeah.
as well. They just cut the overture. I mean, obviously,
Travolta or-
Wagner.
Oh, yeah,
Doesn't.
Wagner.
I mean, after a while, he stops writing overtures, or he has their
Yeah.
preludes, but that's all part of the
But it's also
action, isn't
it's
it?
true of Barismo operas as well. That
Yeah.
because it just completely
Goes straight
launches
in.
into the action. I love an overture, and I think I'd be perfectly happy to sit in the quietness and have them perform with the curtains closed, and then it would make more of a magical moment of that
When they come
curtain
up.
opening. And yeah, I think that kind of moment in theatre going has been lost.
You like that
And I
magic of
think
the
that
curtain
magic,
rise.
and I think I would really appreciate next time I go to the opera, I want to see a non-staged overture. And
But some of
please,
those overtures
if
are
you
so
show me, if you
long.
show me the main characters as children,
You're leaving. I'm gone.
we'll have no
I
choice
hate
other than
children
to
in
leave.
theatre. Sorry, that really.
Is that a hot take of yours? Wait, do you want to go on?
I hate children in theatre.
Really?
Well, this comes to me from musicals.
Yeah.
In operas.
Sometimes they're so good that they're so
Oh,
talented.
you see that, especially when they're like soloists or whatever. Like that's
Yeah.
extremely impressive, and I couldn't do that now. But I hate musicals that have lots of children in them, and
For example,
Matilda.
I've never seen Matilda.
I love Matilda as a musical. I can't stand any of the bits with the kids in it, which is sort of the point. Annie.
Yeah.
Annie.
Oh,
But it's also in opera, and they do it. They just like they keep playing up the isn't they so cute? You're like, okay,
Yeah.
great.
I think there's like a whole history of children in opera as well, and I think they used it used to be very unusual for them to kind of have any kind of singing in the opera.
Yeah.
But then you have something like in the 20th century, you get Turn of the Screw, which is a massive. Miles and Flora are massive roles. They're
Yeah, I mean,
huge parts of the
like La Boheme has the children's
Yeah,
chorus
that's a
and the
famous
chorus
one,
boys
yeah.
in Tosca.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of a later development. I think very much kind of the early genesis of opera, the children wouldn't have performed like that
And
on
good.
stage.
Good.
Let's go back.
Let's
We're
do
gonna
it.
sound like such like traditionalists.
No, I feel like the traditionalism of I don't like children is not.
Go back to operas
No,
that
but-
aren't staged.
but,
Go back to children not being in things.
I mean, I'm internally impressed by children in operas and musicals. Like it's incredible,
yeah.
and it's very difficult.
And I do think that lots of people will agree with you actually here.
Mhm,
And
they
that sometimes it can be jarring.
But it's also when they play it up, it's like, oh, look how cute they're
Yeah.
being. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We
it's
get it.
True. And
We
I
get
also
it.
think there's so much dialogue these days about like children's young people who've grown up in the public eye, or people who've grown up obviously on a different scale.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like the Disney kid like development.
Well, yeah,
of, you know,
the opera
But
kid.
still, it's not a very nice environment. Like growing up on the stage,
I mean, it's
not
quite
always
intense
nice.
because they're like doing rehearsals and they have to like go to school in the evening and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to balance with school as well.
Sounds it.
Yes, when I was Annie on the West End.
It's coming.
Yeah, exactly. Next
I
year,
know,
guys.
it does sound like I'm a sort of miserable old fart, but I know it's just I think
I like how I didn't respond.
you just said there was no
silence.
silence.
I'll let him talk his way out of this.
I can't. It's just not my favorite, and sometimes it's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind it when it's like little bits, but when it's like groups of children and like focused on them, like Carmen. I don't know if it's in Carmen. Is it just
The
good
children
artists
have
in
a big
Carmen?
role in
Too much.
Carmen. Yeah,
Too much.
I think,
And I think directors also just love to hype up the kids. They're like, look at the kids. We're like, great.
yeah,
I'm happy for them to be part of the scene, and because I like again, it's the Verismo thing, like the realness.
Yeah.
There are children
it's
in
texture as well in like the actual sound.
yeah,
world
I
of the
love
piece
that,
as
and that's
well.
it's gonna be such a nice sound, like La
If you
Boheme.
use it,
Act
yeah,
Two.
well.
It's a beautiful sound. The sort of eclectic and not sort of uniform, which is great.
Yeah,
I just can't with children singing.
yeah, I can understand that. And I do feel like going back to Carmen as well. That's one of those pieces I feel like in the classical music world that people are often reluctant to stage it because it's a very difficult piece to stage. There's a lot that's going
There's a
on.
lot going on.
And also so many of those operas, they have so much dialogue.
Yeah.
Like Carmen, there's loads of
Okay.
dialogue in
Well,
Carmen.
this
And
isn't.
when they were done in Italian, they cut all. Well, they didn't cut the dialogue, but they had the recitative style, so it's all kind of.
So the
pitched.
thing with Carmen is that originally, when it was originally written, it was very like singspiel, like a magic flute.
yeah.
It was song dialogue, and it then got rewritten. They put a lot of that dialogue into recit type things.
Yeah.
But there still is some spoken bits. And I know you said some productions like to just make it sung through. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's the way to do it. I cannot tell you the whiplash of watching Carmen and they're singing beautifully, and then suddenly watching some singers struggle to speak French.
Yeah,
And
oh
it's
my
like
goodness.
my neck hurts from
Yeah.
what is happening.
Sung French as well is a very interesting
Oh
sound.
no, yes, exactly. And spoken
it's
French
so
is crazy
hard
too.
to do well. I think I was hearing somebody talk about this as well, and there are so many performances as well where the R's, the sound of the R
Yeah.
in French, is not uniform across the singers. Do you roll it? Do you do like a
I
natural
see.
R?
Yeah.
That's something as well that I think lots of people were thinking about recently, or like I've certainly heard people talking about it, and it was one for me that now when I go and hear something in French, I'm like, what are they going to do with it?
Oh, there's going to be schools
Proper
of thought,
Edith
different
Piaf,
parts.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I don't think that's quite what they were expecting. And there'll be parts of different parts of France would say it differently. But I'm also very on board for. So I went to see Orpheus in the Underworld up at Birmingham Conservatoire a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Brilliant performance. And what they did, they sang in French, did the dialogue in English.
That's really interesting.
Which I loved that because I think it's just easier to act in your own language.
I think that's true.
Especially with speaking. Speaking is different.
And obviously make it seem naturalistic as
Yeah.
well. Because so much of it, I quite like the heightened dialogue though of opera and how like often even when you are speaking it's kind of pitched. It reminds me of old-fashioned kind of Shakespearean acting.
Oh, like the
something like that, where you couldn't act these roles if you couldn't sing because so much of the technique of acting was involved.
sort
with
of the Laurence
teaching something.
Olivier.
Exactly that sort of style. There's a story with
Now
Laurence Olivier
is
as
the
well,
winter.
and I can't remember who he's working with, but it was a modern. It was somebody more in the kind of modern style of acting, and she was really wondering what to do with her part. And she was like, "Oh, should I try this? Should I do this?" And he says, "My dear, why don't you try acting?" Which is so damning.
It's so funny that if you watch anything by Laurence Olivier, it's just it always sounds surreal. And now is the winter of our
discontent.
content, and it's just like wow. And I know
I love it though.
But then,
I think we need to we can go back to that style.
No, I
love
know.
it.
But actually, what's funny now is a lot of people we're talking about Shakespeare now,
Yeah.
think that is how Shakespeare is meant to be done, where in fact that was crazy and new in the 50s, 40s.
Yeah.
And it was done differently 40 years before that.
The Ellen Terry style with Lady Macbeth.
I know, it's just
Genius.
people go very realistic.
I think this is another hot take. Can I say a hot take about Shakespearean acting though?
Yeah, go on then. Why not?
I've got one that's burning.
Okay.
And it's physicality on stage. And I
Okay.
think there are so many of these productions where to make it kind of accessible, they think that they have to be so physical with one another to show that they're friends or to show that they're in love or to show.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I feel like Laurence Olivier is
Just
saying, "My
act.
dear, have you tried
Just
acting?
sing. Actually,
Just act."
That exists in opera though as well.
It's
as in,
very true. And like, I've seen so many extended fight scenes that must have been choreographed for so
you
long.
have to photograph
And it's
them,
like, sometimes it is just.
You have to
a little
choreograph
bit
fight scenes.
painful.
I know. Again, like with opera, they're trying to appeal to new audiences who, we experience the dramas that we watch on TV or whatever. Hyper realistic. People are doing realistic acting.
absolutely.
That's just what's in vogue at the moment.
For sure.
So we want to see that on stage as well.
Do you think that will change? Do you think there will be a new appetite? Because it does really. I completely agree with
I
you.
don't think so. I think because especially the classic thing of opera singers can't act, it's because they're traditionally they're on a massive stage.
Yeah.
Belting to the back of the hall.
But yeah, this is something as well. I guess this is a hot take in opera that so much of that original style of acting and so much of that original style of performance is about the tableau.
Yeah,
So a
the image.
picture and like a screenshot of kind of
Yeah.
opera. And so many operas have a really famous tableau, like Tosca with the candelabra and the
Yeah.
cross. That's such a moment. Or Madama Butterfly,
Yeah, with the lily tree, or
the
she's
little
being-
child and the American flag in the blindfold. That is
Love
a
it.
tableau. And
Love it.
yeah.
That's when I like
Pain.
children.
Yeah.
That's when I want the children
Yeah.
in the opera.
Blindfolded. In
with
a moment
horrible
of
things
extreme
happening.
trauma. Yeah.
I like it when the children are played by puppets.
Well, that was one that we saw at ENO, wasn't it? The Madama Butterfly there. Were you there?
I was not there.
The child is played by a puppet.
I know. What fair?
Yeah.
I don't in Madame Butterfly that she does this thing. If she is singing with a child, she usually like holds like the child's ears when she's singing,
Yes,
so
yeah,
she's
I've
not just
noticed that.
wailing in this child's face.
Very interesting. Yeah.
That's just ear care. That is just protecting his hearing.
About that more.
It's like going to a rock concert, standing in front of Madame Butterfly
and then
for
getting,
8 shows not 8 shows a week, 3 shows a week.
Yeah.
Mad.
True. And you do see that in orchestras as well, with kind of sound.
There's a lot of stuff there. Is that as usually the people that sit in front of the brass.
Yeah.
Will have these plastic or glass sort of shields.
You'll have seen it if you've been.
But I mean, there's been lawsuits in the past of
absolutely.
Of usually wind players, because that's where they are. When you're prolonged in if people have not been near a trumpet or a horn or a trombone, they are loud.
They're so
if you've not been near them, you don't realize how loud they are and how loud they can get. So if you're playing in a pit orchestra like the Royal Opera House, where you're probably playing almost every day,
and it's a smaller kind of
it's enclosed. Prolonged
really
exposure will destroy your hearing, and has happened, and and people have been sued. I mean, I remember a music teacher of mine saying that his father was in an orchestra, and just as a joke, someone just like blew a trumpet, like just hard blow into the side of his, like into one ear, and he then was deaf in that, well, partially deaf in that ear for the rest of his life.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, it's don't underestimate
so
the brass.
Much power. Don't underestimate the brass. That is a life lesson.
To be fair, don't underestimate a lot of them, because they can really project.
Absolutely. What was I going to say? I was going to say something.
Probably wasn't very good. Probably wasn't
I was
worth
going
it.
to draw upon this. Yes, my friend recently went on it was either the Victoria or the Northern Line, and it's so loud on those.
Yeah, it's a Victoria line.
It's a Victoria line.
It sounds like that gates of hell.
There's the Northern Line as well. There's literally
screaming.
Yeah, you can scream on it and you won't be able to hear yourself.
You'd be quiet.
Trust me, I've done that.
It's therapy.
It's literally therapy.
Let's
Free
all go
therapy.
scream on the
Free
Northern
therapy.
Line.
Join us. And she took like a noise recording, and it does break those. Like, there's a rule about public noises.
Yes.
And it does break that level.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you change it? Who
Well,
do you
the
go
problem
to?
with
What
the
do you
tube is
do?
you try and do anything to it, it requires closing the tube, and that costs lots of money.
Yes, and
stops
upset,
everyone. Everyone gets
including all of
unhappy.
us.
Hot take.
Yes.
You're gonna like this one.
Yes.
I'm not all that fond of. I'm going to say piano music.
Piano music.
But I will specifically say, I will not enjoy a recital of Chopin.
I want to know first off who hurt you and what happened to
My
you.
piano teacher.
Oh my God. Okay. Get into it. Okay, let's talk about it.
Well, I have to start by saying I'm not a pianist in the way that I've never been formally taught. I can play as part of just like, I've accompanied stuff, and obviously I compose ish at the piano, but I'm not like a pianist. I've not been through grades and playing publicly. And so it comes from just being a listener and hearing Chopin and hearing. I'm going to put some other people in this list as well. List.
Yeah,
Chopin and Debussy. I mean, Debussy's best music in my mind is his orchestral stuff.
I mean, the orchestral music
because he's a really
great,
beautiful orchestrator.
I know.
Talk
more about it.
I know he was revolutionary. Thing is, I know all those three people were revolutionary in their own field. I get that.
Yeah.
I can't explain. Maybe Chopin is just so focused on sort of romanticism and the sort of the melodic line.
Yeah, and absolutely. It's bel canto.
But I love that.
But that's what's interesting.
And I think I don't like that.
Like Chopin and Liszt was so, their bel canto.
I love it when Liszt is crazy.
When Liszt is crazy.
So like the piano concerto.
Do you prefer the piano when it's used kind of more percussively?
Yeah. So I think if you were to, I say this a lot, is my interest in classical music. It's not uniform across time.
Yeah.
I am really into early stuff.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Renaissance, Baroque, classical, that is my jam. My interest dips quite a bit once we go into the 19th century.
That's so interesting.
Which, to be
I feel
honest,
like
is the
I'm the
inverse for
opposite. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
everyone
literally. I was thinking,
But then
this
it
is a
comes back
popular
up again in the
opinion for me.
20th century. And
Yeah, well, the 20th century is amazing. Yeah.
of course it is.
Come on.
And the 21st century,
20, even better.
even better.
22nd, can't wait.
Yeah, okay. And I understand that is, maybe it's because I grew up being a violinist, so I did a lot of
Yeah.
Baroque repertoire and classical repertoire. The piano music I would play was Bach.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's
as
just,
you
it's
should.
there is no shame in someone saying, I just don't get that. And I think that is
Absolutely.
the case with maybe I sort of get why Chopin's nice, but when it goes on for too long, I'm like, what? Why is this going on
But
for
this
so
is
long?
so interesting because I was thinking about this. I was asked recently, who do you prefer, Chopin or Rachmaninoff?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I love Rachmaninoff.
You love. I know. Well, the right answer. Who's a better composer? Chopin
Well, that's
or
a stupid
Rachmaninoff?
question.
Which the answer.
There isn't
like,
one. There isn't. There was.
Do you think Rachmaninoff is the greatest composer?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't like to say any composer's the greatest. Especially
Yeah, yeah,
again, we said about how.
In that question, it was who's the greater composer.
Oh, so who? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's who do you prefer?
But well, that's true. But then I think for me, I actually, this is an unpopular opinion. I tire of Rachmaninoff's compositional voice. Like for me,
Say that again, please.
like,
I tire of Rachmaninoff's compositional voice.
I do. Like I can't listen to loads of Rachmaninoff in a row.
It's like insipid.
It's not insipid. Rachmaninoff to me is not. It's very kind of gritty, I would say.
Oh, okay. I think like it's too
think-
like sickly sweet.
No. I mean, Chopin is more sickly sweet
Oh
than
yeah,
Rachmaninoff.
and bar is
But I
enough.
don't tire of Chopin's compositional voice because to me there's just it's literally just a personal thing though, I think, of part of it. And a lot of the first things that I engaged with in classical music were kind of
Chopin.
long, well, not necessarily Chopin actually, but long bel canto lines. I grew up as well. My grandfather's Italian, as you know, and he used to listen to a lot of Neapolitan songs and opera arias and things like that. And it was something that I was aware of, and I think
Yeah.
that was some of the way that I interacted with classical music as a child.
No, I
And
get
so
that.
I think my first kind of love in classical music was very much kind of Mozart, Clementi, and then onwards
Yeah.
into like Schumann, Schubert.
Okay.
Chopin.
Schubert's great.
Schubert is fantastic.
So yeah, it
Okay,
really
we're
does drop off.
agreeing. This
I
is
mean,
good.
Schumann, there were bits I like and bits I
Schumann,
less
I
like.
love. I am obsessed.
Brahms,
with
I have
Schumann.
no time for.
Really? Okay, Brahms, I used to not be a massive fan, but I love it. So murky.
It's
I
one
love
of
the kind of
muddy.
murk. Muddy, absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
Muddy's not good.
No,
Well, I know. I appreciate
love
all of
it.
them. That has to be said. And also this doesn't mean no one should be playing this. That's not what I think either. Everything should be played. There's no music
Yeah.
that should not be played. That's the
Well,
whole
I think the question
point.
that with somebody like Chopin, nobody else agrees.
No,
with you.
there's no danger of
there's
that.
no danger of Chopin. People stop playing that. So I think it's interesting to hear your ideas.
And a lot of people who like music, or okay, they're not musicians, but they like music. They like Chopin. Like
That's
he's
very
like the
true.
gateway drug.
Yeah, I mean, what's it? Is it the?
You're the pianist.
Yeah, literally. Oh my god.
I
yes.
know.
So many of the nocturnes.
Yeah,
that
yeah, the
Chopin's
classic
listen
ones,
to
yeah.
all the time, and so many of the
And
preludes.
the preludes, yeah, the
Yeah,
waltzes.
the waltzes. Yeah. I'm like,
They're all
Mazurkas, the Mazurkas.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I
they're
love.
all-
I can spend like
And
a
they're all
whole
the same.
evening.
You can't think because they all sound the same.
No, Johnny, they do not. They all have their own individual character.
It's so bad though because I love Handel. And I literally was saying earlier how all the Handel operas are
No,
exactly the
this
same.
hot take of mine is I'm obsessed with da capo form.
Oh
More da
god.
capo, more. Play it again with more ornamentation, more trills, more arpeggios. I want more.
No, but it's
I want a third da capo. I need it.
the problem. Okay. The capo.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, it's a form of like an aria or a song in an opera where you have an A section, then you have like a contrasting B section. So A, they'll be like, oh, I really love him, he's great. B is like, well, he might actually be my father. And then A comes back and they go, oh, I really love him, he's great. So it's this sort of, again, whiplash of tone.
It's
So for a
interesting,
director,
yeah.
it's well, back in when it was put on, they didn't really care. Well, they probably did.
Mm.
For a director now, it is so difficult to sort of like, why is this like, why are they just like flitting? Why are they so indecisive that they're going back between
But I
these two
wonder whether
things?
this is something to do with what we were talking earlier about this movement towards having really realistic, a lot of different movement within one aria, rather than kind of an overarching tableau of this piece.
Yeah,
And
no,
then you
that's
snap
fair.
out of its CB section, and then the tableau still
Oh, it's like a,
stands.
oh, it is
Yeah,
like,
it's not always the case though that the A and B section are very different in what they're saying. Often it's like somebody who's really lamenting, and then they're like, "I hate them. I'm gonna kill them."
yeah, like maybe I
They're
shouldn't.
lamenting.
And it's like an intrusive thought,
Yeah,
really, isn't it?
exactly. It's a moment in the
Yeah.
aria. And I think it's interesting to think about. It's very different to how people write music today. I'm not sure. Maybe, Johnny, in one of your next compositions, you can do a Da Capo aria just for me.
You don't put repeat marks in music anymore.
They really
They
don't.
don't do that.
You don't see it very often.
To be fair, and also, yeah, the Handel
Yeah.
operas, you get each aria is about sort of 8 words in it.
Yeah, that is very true.
So you don't
It
you
is
get
an
through them.
idea. You know,
I just
like,
think
there's an overarching idea.
the capo comes from. There's also this movement since sort of there is 2 ends of a spectrum when it comes
Yeah.
to expression in
Yeah.
music. There is form,
Mm.
so that's ABA, so
Yeah,
capo,
yeah.
or sonata form, or whatever, and then there's expression, and that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like a melody, or it's
Yeah,
like it's the
absolutely.
dissonance.
Things can be kind of analyzed and split down to lots of different levels,
Yeah.
and they're structured on all sorts of different
And
levels.
both, and we've moved just generally to that
Yeah.
more expressive, a beautiful song, like on that when something dramatic, having the soprano sings a top note,
Yeah.
or you go like in the Elgar cello concerto, he climbs all the way up,
Yeah,
with the
absolutely.
and that's very expressive, very sort of romantic.
Yes.
So there is less this form, which was so important back in the Baroque times, in the
Absolutely,
classical
yeah.
times. Form still exists, and form still is very important, and it's when we have motifs and themes come back in musical theatre. When we hear like they're very good at establishing a character to a theme. Like you hear Elphaba come out, da, 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 or all the music.
Yeah, exactly.
Da, 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 yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like, and so now,
Leitmotif.
and now, every time you hear that come back throughout,
Yeah.
your brain goes, I know where we are, I know what's happening.
Absolutely.
And people love, and the best thing with the audiences when you're listening to stuff is for them to feel comfortable and to feel like they know where they are.
Absolutely. This was put very well by a friend of mine, which is we were talking about the first operas that we ever saw.
Yeah.
And the first one that I saw was Madama Butterfly. And
Yeah.
I remember thinking, like being really carried away by the story and
Yeah.
really kind of loving just the music was so the music was so overwhelming, and it was so powerful and really told that story.
Yeah.
And I was telling my friend, and he said, the great thing about Puccini is that you're never at a loss for how to feel.
Yeah.
And
He
that
does
is
hand
something
it to you.
that is something that those themes do.
Yeah,
They are
it
really.
gives you,
Tosca is a great example of this.
I did a
Yeah.
video on this recently.
Did you? Okay.
Oh,
Well, everyone
okay.
go
You're
to
not
Johnny's
watching my
video.
content. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly right. We're
Um,
gonna take notes.
So it's about again
Yeah.
how he uses the theme for Scarpia.
Yeah.
And Scarpia is the big horrible villain
Yeah.
in Tosca, and the opening of Tosca is these beautiful big brassy chords, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. It's grand, it's ceremonial, it's quite sort of authoritarian. There's authority there, and that is Scarpia. And so you don't even see Scarpia until about half an hour in, but they talk about him, and it just sort of like you hear this tune just like waft in the strings, in the
Yeah.
top for the winds, and it's almost like the mere mention of his name, it causes like a shiver
Yeah.
down these
exactly.
characters. And so there's the power of like
Yeah.
form coming back.
He's very good at those kind of gestures in music that really. The other one that I'm thinking of is Madama Butterfly, where they say to her, "What would you do if he wouldn't come back?" And there's just a big, loud, like
Yeah.
kind of beat of the drum.
Absolutely.
And it's just her being like winded
Drama.
by the thought.
I
And it's
love
just
that.
silence. And there's also again the death motif in that.
Yeah.
Ba,
We keep talking about, I realise we always we go back to Puccini every time.
Yeah, maybe this is like a common thread.
This
for
is the
us,
Puccini
so
podcast.
This is where we agree. I feel like maybe we're like
We're
magnets who are
agreeing.
going
We
back
shouldn't be
together.
agreeing.
We shouldn't be agreeing.
Can I say
Johnny,
another one? It's
what?
slightly related to my
Yeah.
dislike of Chopin. As
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
not
yeah.
dislike, but it's
I
just
do
like,
actually want to talk maybe more about my love for Chopin Liszt and those composers.
no, we've got no time. Anyway, we're done.
I'll go back to it. I'll find
But
a
just
way.
about, I maybe it's just we'll explore it. Maybe this
Yeah,
will be the
we will, we
exploration.
will, we will.
Why, for some reason, I have this sort of, I'm less interested in romantic stuff. And that goes for romantic operas. I'm like, Verdi doesn't excite me. Romantic symphonies and I mean this, I genuinely would rather listen to any symphony by Haydn, 1 to 104, than a symphony
Yeah.
by Tchaikovsky, Mahler,
Well, but this is the
Brahms.
thing. It's an unpopular opinion, but Haydn is also my favorite,
Oh,
my
we're
favorite
a
symphonic
Haydn-
writer. I just
I'm on board.
love him.
But there are so many
Anyway,
people out there
yeah, that's
that
true.
would like
That's
not
very
be
true that
keen
it's
on
not
Haydn.
interested. And again, we're saying all these people sound the same. Somebody would say all the Haydn
Oh,
symphonies
and they
sound
do.
the same.
And they do.
But isn't it amazing?
And they're great. And I love it.
Yeah.
Give it to me. It's an
Give us
addiction.
more.
Put it in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a really interesting kind of psychological reason
Yeah.
why we're all kind of more drawn to things. You know, did you ever do your like Myers-Briggs personality, or what, do you know what that is?
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
the like
But I think...
ENFJ or whatever.
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, okay,
Sorry, I
yeah.
can't yes
No,
and
so
it.
it's like it gives you kind of 4 major characters. Thing is, I can't really remember what they are, but I think mine was ENFP. I think, which is like extroverted,
Oh, I see.
feeling,
Yeah.
intuitive, and perceiving, or something like that.
Perceiving.
And so, yeah, there are kind of opposites for all of that, and you're grouped into these different things, and it's meant to tell you all about how like you should live your life, basically. So that kind of similar psychological analysis.
Yeah, maybe
of,
also...
yeah.
I mean, I can't explain. Maybe it's also
Yeah.
because classical stuff is a bit more sort of on the nose, but there's so many romantic stuff you could also say
Yeah.
that's the case.
I know a lot of people who aren't very interested in classical
Like
music.
18th
So,
century.
yeah, exactly, 18th century. So kind of Mozart,
Yeah, no,
Haydn,
fair.
that style.
Or they'll just do Mozart
Beethoven.
or maybe a bit of Beethoven.
But I think, yeah, music is all these different types of music are interesting for a different reason. I think
Yeah.
one of the things I love about
Yes.
Haydn and Mozart is like the use of like gesture.
Yeah.
And I think that's
It's a bit more
so
sort of on the nose and a bit more sort of
important. Yeah.
honest.
And it is very honest, but I think that's one of the reasons why people wouldn't necessarily engage with it so much, because it's not quite so harmonically complex. And you have a feeling that... thing is, this annoys me though when people say
Yeah.
about classical music, is you always know where it's going. And it's like, that's
That is
not
not the case.
true. That is
That is
ever heard
not
of an
the case.
interrupted cadence? Like, you don't always know where
God,
these things are going.
that 1-5 gets me all the time.
Yeah,
But that's
literally.
imperfect.
Yeah, interrupted is where it goes like completely.
It
off
goes to
the
like the
rails, right?
medians or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah.
Grade 5 theory.
Grave Fly Theory. I've like wiped it all from my brain.
There's a great Bach chorale. Oh, great! I'm not going to remember at all what it was called.
Cadence.
No, it just goes. It's in F. It's in B flat. No, I think it's in F major, and there's just one of the cadences in D flat major. And we're like, and it's like he has just put his middle finger up to all the people trying to teach me Bach chorales throughout my life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have a memory of you helping me with my Bach chorales at King.
I was helping everyone with the Bach.
Yeah,
No,
my
I can't
memory-
say that. I can't say that.
My memory was, I said, Johnny, I'm really struggling with this view. Like, can you help me? And you said, listen to mine.
No, I didn't say that.
you
We're
guys
not
laptop
painting me
out.
like that. We're not painting me like
And I said,
that.
Wow, Johnny, aren't you amazing?
You didn't say that.
No, I certainly didn't.
Did not.
But yeah, I remember finding that so challenging, because I remember being at school and loving composing, and then when we went to uni, one of the modules
They
we
really
did
beat it out of you,
first year-
don't they?
Yeah, we did techniques of composition in the style of Bach.
Yes.
And I just remember thinking, oh, I know this. Like, I've done chorales, it's fine. And quickly realizing, oh, no,
Really
I
hard.
don't do this. There's a reason why Bach was a genius. This is actually very hard to do.
I mean, this isn't really a hot take, but this is
Yeah.
my opinion on this.
Yeah.
A lot of places that teach music or teach composition, you see a lot of them phasing out teaching Bach chorales and stuff.
Yeah.
Part of me says, great, because no one writes like that. No one
Yeah.
sits in a room with no piano, with just a score and a pencil, writing out chords like you're doing like Sudoku or something. Nobody writes like that.
Yeah.
Zero. Bach didn't write like that.
No, of course.
It's
like a romanticized idea of like
Yeah,
a
it's a very
pre-digital
old,
age
like
of,
19th century
absolutely.
Oxbridge style,
yeah,
like.
kind of head in hands with the long hair and the
Yeah, I'm just
quill.
working out my chorale.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he's writing his use of chords. That is Western music, and we
Yeah.
still use chords like Bach does. We're
Yeah.
not that in pop music today. We're not that far from how Bach was harmonizing.
No,
stuff.
absolutely.
Well, I would say almost exactly the same.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think also this is the thing that, I mean, so many of the composers that we love so much in classical music is down to that style of writing.
Yeah.
Right? You know, we wouldn't have any of our favorites without Bach. Or his predecessors, though, as well, you know.
I'd like to say also all the rules with Bach
Yeah.
chorales, those were written in the 19th century.
Exactly.
They
that I
went
was going
back
to say
and
something
tried to like
this, and
match them up.
this is interesting about what you were saying about the D flat chord.
Yeah.
He broke his own rules all
Yeah,
the
because there
time.
weren't any rules. To do.
Parallel octaves, parallel
Oh,
fifths.
all the time.
You can find them all over
All
the
the
place.
time.
Yes. So don't worry. And also going back to Johnny's hatred of
Chopin.
Debussy.
Oh yeah.
He failed
Okay,
harmony
let's go.
3 years in
Yeah,
a
I
row,
can tell.
I think.
No. To be fair to Debussy, okay, I'm prepared to talk about Debussy because
Yeah.
I love Impressionism, which is slightly
This
against
is what's
this.
fascinating. Do you love the art form of Impressionism, or do you love how it's rendered
I
in
like-
music? Because
I
both
like,
very different as well.
Unfortunately, all I think of when I think of Impressionism is like
Monet.
George Seurat,
Oh, really?
and obviously Sunday in the Park with George, and that's
Going
my
to see
only
Ariana
interaction.
Grande and Jonathan
Well, you got to
Bailey.
get the tickets. They're not going to
Yeah,
be easy.
exactly.
Maybe we'll do a podcast
Yeah.
with them.
Any listeners, please find us some.
No, we're not begging. We cannot start begging. They'll just give it to us.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, it's our birthright.
Right.
Um,
And so I think the stuff I write as well does lean into that sort of like, I love the vagueness and the sort of the dreamlike
Yeah.
energy.
But I think the vagueness, that's interesting that you should say that, because I think that's what the Impressionists, the Impressionists hated using the word for
Yeah, no, I'm
Impressionism
sure they
themselves.
did.
Also because as a movement in visual art,
Yeah.
it was already tired by the
Yeah,
time that
they were
Debussy
done.
was composing, and he was thinking, well, he and Ravel, were thinking, well, we're doing new things here,
Yeah.
really innovating Impressionism as thing of the last century.
Yeah.
This doesn't have something to say to what we're doing. And I kind of agree with it. And I think what they were really interested as well, they were some of the first voices in neoclassical music as well.
Yeah, true.
Baroque forms, that was something that they were really interested in. And, you think of neoclassicism.
That's them bringing form back as
post-war-
well.
Yeah, you think of that as being kind of a post-First World War thing of a kind of desecrated society having to go back to
The
this
order.
rigidity order,
Yeah.
as opposed to the free Edwardians and,
Just doing
early
whatever.
20th century people doing whatever, exactly.
The Debussy.
But yeah, they really hated that kind of idea of being vague. But I think when you listen to it, that is a lot of what you get. And
It's
Johnny,
vague.
you said something earlier which made me laugh, which was putting the pedal down and hoping for the best.
Yes.
Which is like, I think if you any pianists who
Which was
kind of
you
approach-
at university, to
it
be
was
honest.
me, yeah, Pagode, my
Oh,
my first
God.
year recital.
You put the pedal down during the Bach. That's a hot take.
I did put the pedal down in the Bach.
And you were sent down.
I was, yeah.
You got sent
I
down.
was, I was punished.
Fingers
Yeah,
crushed.
Exactly, fingers crushed. Pedaling is really interesting though, and I actually love going to a recital as well, where I feel like there's really virtuosic pedaling. I went to one recently. It was the Sumi Joe recital
Yeah,
at
you
Cadogan
said.
Hall, and Malcolm Martineau was accompanying the two performers, and the way he used the pedal, it was so subtle. It was really, I was geeking out over it. I feel like I was not even looking at the kind of outfit changes and the splendor.
The
of
outfit
stage.
changes?
Oh my god, they were like
Just
12
tearaways
changes.
whilst
Yeah.
playing.
It was fantastic. It was very, very visually arresting. It was
I love it.
a whole evening.
No, that's good.
But I feel like I was really zooming in on the pedal, and I thought, wow,
You you stop looking
that's
at people's
so
feet.
cool. Yeah,
Stop
exactly.
staring at people's feet, Alex.
I know. Sorry. Sorry.
I think it's Debussy. I actually love Satie, so maybe so
Maybe, yeah. Are you 360ing? How much Debussy have you listened to as well?
Well, like
as a
all the
piano?
usual stuff, like the cathedral underwater.
Yeah, the
And,
usual stuff.
The fawn,
Yeah.
girl with flaxen hair, girl with flaxen hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. The usuals, like Claire de Lune.
Yeah.
And I know there's so much, there's so much. And I know he was creating a really new sound with the piano. And I think this may be where it comes for me, is that because I come to the piano as a composition instrument, it is just in the place of an orchestra.
Yeah.
The reason it's the go-to instrument is because it's so versatile. You can play chords, you can play fast stuff, you've got a range of 88 keys.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard too much of it, and I think there's so much beauty in orchestration. Orchestration, I think is just such a love of mine.
Yeah.
And there's such a variety of instruments. He also wrote really well. Wrote really well for the orchestra with like low flutes or the like high bassoons. Like,
But do you not hear that rendered in the piano
no.
music?
Wait, are you saying? So you're saying that I'm meant to hear an orchestra when I hear the piano play?
Absolutely,
So why not
yeah.
just hear an orchestra?
Well, but That is an.
Yeah.
But I think that it's so interesting to hear those colors in a piano, don't you
Oh
think?
no, so that taking the piano as an instrument in its own right,
Yeah.
that I guess is how it should be. I just think we've heard it all.
We've heard it all the music. Well, I
Yeah,
think that
I've
is an
heard everything.
To be fair, that is an interesting point that I think people.
Can we
So,
run out of music?
yeah, I think people are not imaginative with what they program in classical music. Well, some people really are. That is a massive.
Oh yeah,
overstatement. Some
yes,
people are very
absolutely.
imaginative, but you do hear the same things over and over and over and over and over again. If you want to hear Holst the Planets,
Oh, I'm
there'll
on
be a
board.
performance this year.
I'm on board.
Guys, there's going to be
Oh,
a
yeah,
performance
no-
this year, I'm sure of it.
And you know, we're around Easter this time, so you know you can't walk for John's Passion, Matthew
Exactly.
Passion,
Any of the passions.
Christmas oratorios at Christmas.
You'll hear them, and they will be beautiful, and we'll all be glad. But there are other pieces of music, and I think this is interesting that kind of Debussy is so much everywhere, and Chopin is so much everywhere.
In fact, I was another thing I was thinking is that like it gets to the point where they no longer become pieces of music, and my thought of that was Fur-Elise can
That
never
is-
not. It can.
yeah.
I don't think you can now ever listen to Fur-Elise as a piece of music.
No,
It sounds like what you know the third piece you learn on a piano,
Yeah.
and it's just
well,
maybe not
actually, the
third.
full length
There's the
Fur-Elise is quite challenging.
Yeah,
for
there's
me.
the okay. It's up there with what people play in
It's
like.
true. It's something that you learn.
And actually, it's quite
But
an
I think
interesting
there
piece
is
of
but
music.
there is also something to be said though for that style of the way that I learned. I had a Russian teacher when I was kind of further along in the piano, and she always used to have a theory of you want to learn this piece. Okay, this is the lineage. You learn this. and then
Oh, I see. Like
and I felt like that actually really worked for me. And so yeah, maybe it's a hot take. I don't know that kind of in order to play this, you have to have gone through this. I quite like that way of learning. I think for me it worked. For other people it wouldn't. But
I mean, that's the thing with learning. And actually, we could do a whole thing on
Yeah.
teaching and learning stuff. Is that actually we're finding more and more that there are lots of strict methods and things when it comes to
Yes.
education and music, and actually everyone is different.
true.
Everyone requires different things to progress and get
yeah,
better,
Yeah.
and the best teachers are the ones that are able to respond to that and that they're able
Absolutely.
to, okay, this is where you are, this is what you should do next,
Yeah.
and not be the same for
Or
everyone.
even if you're teaching somebody and you know that you're not the right teacher for them, to say
Well,
I can find you another teacher.
yeah,
or,
no, fair.
To have somebody in your network that you connect them with, I think that's very important. That's happened to me in the past, being passed on to different teachers, and yeah.
I don't know if like I think I know the
I was
common
just so
common
difficult.
factor
Oh
there.
my God, wouldn't-
Okay, I've got
Yeah.
one more, and I don't know
Okay.
if this is really a hot take as such, but it's more like an observation, and it's people don't like new music.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think I guess it comes with a sort of a comfortability sort of thing.
Yeah.
You obviously go and see or go and hear or listen to music that you know before and you like.
Yeah.
And it's just the idea of like listening to new stuff is very exciting. Even if it's like something you've never heard of in the past or like music that was written yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think it partially comes down to what orchestras and etc. are programming and commissioning. But also I think it's just down. I mean, but then they're going to go off what the audience want.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to sell, with new music, it makes sense why they're doing Beethoven's Fifth, and it makes sense why they're doing Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
But I think it's also there was a stat or something about like how opera in like the middle of the 19th century was sort of like 80-90%. A new season would be like 80-90% new work.
I was going. Yeah.
But it's not like that. Could you imagine the Royal Opera House or Wigmore Hall and that thing, and it was 80-90% new stuff?
Yes.
That's so exciting. But then in the pop world, they're so excited when new things come out.
Absolutely, and it's
There,
very
unlike there are other people, those people.
guys. We love.
But there's such a hype when then like a new Taylor Swift comes out or whatever.
True. And there is something. There were definitely some stats. I can't remember where I was working at this time, where we were looking at the audiences that we had, what they were coming to.
Yeah.
And new audiences in classical music are so much more interested in hearing canon pieces.
Yeah, of course.
So pieces within the canon. And I think a lot of the way that we think of kind of engaging people in classical music is through kind of diversifying the canon, which must be done. Like, everyone knows.
Yeah, because
this.
there's only like 6 pieces in it.
Exactly, and like you say, if we play, these pieces one more time.
Beethoven 9 is great. I mean, love it. It's a great piece.
Yeah.
The whole planet.
Which piece did the
Beethoven 9. Oh, you were almost like, no. Beethoven 9. What was it? So it was the proms, and it was where it was last year, the Beethoven 9, and then in the first half, there were 3 pieces, I think, or maybe 2 pieces that were modern pieces. One piece was by Anna Klein. So much fun. Again, I love hearing new music and new orchestration and how it's like, it's just so exciting.
And there's so much that's going on, I think, at the moment in the classical scene. That's
It's there.
Really
You got to find it. But this prom, it was noticeable that people had come in for the interval for Beethoven 9.
It's interesting, and this is actually a tactic that people do, which is they put the new piece
because everyone will go. If they did Beethoven 9 first, everyone will go. Well, not everyone.
Yeah, well, but it is true that people would leave.
And I don't. And unfortunately, I think modern music got a really bad reputation from like Schoenberg onwards.
Schoenberg is one of my favorite.
And I've no issue, and I no problem with that. It's just that it's almost like modern art. Obviously, people laugh at modern art, but I feel like that still doesn't get the same rep as like
and there is so many
Schoenberg,
people,
Berg, Stockhausen.
I've certainly heard so many people say they love modern art, but they can't connect to classical art.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you would hear very few people say the same about classical music.
Exactly.
Well, the problem is the word classical music. We're going back to the same discussion.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anyone in our community say, "Oh, I just love 21st century music, but I just can't really connect with."
I mean, I like it when a lot of musicians are really open to new stuff. I mean, usually because you write stuff for them, and then they have a piece that was written for them, and working musicians is a lot of fun. Actually, that could be a whole nother
working musicians for sure.
But actually another funny thing is that we talk about. Well, I mentioned Schoenberg, Berg. They're almost 100. That's over 100 years old. Their music.
Yeah, it's true, and you still.
And I'm saying that's modern music now.
I remember being in my GCSE music class, and we did. I can't. What was the Schoenberg piece? Did you do it?
I didn't do it. Was it not Verklärte Nacht?
No, it wasn't Verklärte Nacht.
Was it one of the piano ones? What's it called?
Rippety from 5 Short Piece Orchestra.
Yeah. Oh yes, no, I know the one.
And I remember people cried. People were so shocked by it, they cried. And it was like,
cried.
Yes, people had to leave. It was so.
I thought they had to leave.
They had to leave the room. It was a shocking thing. Still, this was in, 2 years ago when I was doing my GCSEs.
You're not convincing them. That camera's on, by the way.
Exactly. I can't stand a naked light bulb. Yes.
If you're going to do any more references, what was that to?
That was Streetcar Named Desire.
I knew it was.
Come on.
I knew it was.
Come on, leave the room.
I've always depended on the can as a stranger.
Yeah, exactly. You have.
And I think that's damning. Damning.
Yeah, and it was still so shocking. People were really shocked by it. And so there is that interesting thing of like, now I feel like you or I could listen to Schoenberg and it's like, you wouldn't be shocked by it necessarily.
No, we wouldn't be shocked by it. We've heard crazy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like the kind of dodecaphony, 12-tone system that, when Britain was using that in the 50s, that was old hat. It was
and Stravinsky was using it in the 70s.
Exactly. They're like, who's this? Requiem Canticles. It was kind of cringeworthy almost that he was using that harmonic language that was developed so much.
I personally,
tonal language.
From my personal opinion, I think that 12-tone writing defeats the point of music. And it's that you're now, no, that's really bad.
Well, because I think, his argument was somebody had to do this.
And he took the bullet.
Got to be me. And he always used to say, I wish that I want to be walking down and hear somebody whistling my tunes. But you...
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like a dial-up modem.
Yeah.
I know, I understand that, but he was the funny thing is that people, especially if they didn't study music, he wrote a lot of books on harmony. And like traditional harmony, which was like the go-to books on harmony.
Geek,
he was a big like music educationist as well. He knew what he was doing.
So many people were trained.
Go and listen. Well. If you can't do the 12-tone stuff, listen to like Verklärte Nacht, which is just gorgeous.
So beautiful. The Friedau Verden as well. The choral piece, absolutely stunning.
We'll do it. We're gonna do a Schoenberg.
We have to
episode.
do a Schoenberg episode. That will be my favorite day. I love him.
Right.
So Johnny, going back to our usual
Our album recommendation of
album
the
recommendation
week.
of
Well,
the week.
of every other week.
Do you want to share what you've been listening to recently?
Yes.
Anything you've
So it came out just last year, and it's not classical music per se, but it's the John Wilson and Symphony of London recording of Lerner and Lowe's My Fair Lady. So it's musical theatre. But he's been doing a few of these recordings. So I think he did Carousel and he did Oklahoma. So it's these more, I'll say, sort of classical, style musicals. They're more full of orchestras and sort of more traditional sort of sounding voices.
Yes.
It is just beautiful. It's just sumptuous, and it includes all the little sort of. I mean, if anyone has seen My Fair Lady, it's amazing. It's too long, but somehow still works.
Yes.
But the score was beautiful, and there's lots of cut bits in there, like all this sort of stuff. There was so much on the cutting room floor. This show must have been 5 hours long originally.
Well, Johnny, this is another hot take for you. I am a My Fair Lady hater because I love Pygmalion. So I am excited to hear this.
I haven't got time for this. I don't have time for this. I like Pygmalion too.
Yeah.
But My Fair Lady, I saw it at the Colosseum whenever it was last on, like 3 years ago, and I watch it, and it's just like every song is a banger.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't work. That show should not work because it's long. People just keep talking. The songs just sort of come out of nowhere, but it just works. And that recording just like captures all the music in it just perfectly. And it's a beautiful, beautiful recording. If you've never even heard My Fair Lady or don't even know the story, it's honestly still worth listening to. Actually, I would say there's also a shout out to like John Wilson himself, because one of the things that got me into music, or just things I remember growing up, were his proms.
Yes, absolutely iconic.
He did the musical theatre prom. There was like the golden age of cinema. There was the classic. I go and look this up because it's the Tom and Jerry music.
Yes,
and it's just magnificent. All the percussionists you have people like with guns or making dog nod.
I think this is a really fun entry to classical music as well, if you're not sure.
Oh, it's so much fun. And like
these are all pieces that you'll know as
well.
The
musical theatre prom.
They're like a part of.
They're all on YouTube, or a lot of them on YouTube. Honestly, go and watch them, because I didn't watch most of the proms is put on the telly, but if I was to watch one, it was just the John Wilson prom. So he's been like, that was really an entry, and also just to show how fun music can be. Classical music in the Albert Hall can be good fun, and you can have grown men barking.
Yep, you can have.
And that's music.
And onto the recording.
And here's the recording. What about yourself?
So my recommendation comes from, I'm seeing Tristan and Isolde from the Met at the weekend in cinemas.
Oh, okay.
Not
live. Like, wow.
Yeah, I'm off. Bye. And as I was saying last week, I often like to listen to the same piece, lots of different recordings, kind of get a real sense for different things that people are doing, different ways that people are approaching it. Mm-hmm. And I found a really vintage 1950 early career Maria Callas.
A classic.
Singing Isolde in Italian.
Oh, wow.
Yes, with Arturo Basile conducting. And it is really special to hear that voice so early in its career. Such interesting choices. So, as you say, for My Fair Lady, so sumptuous, so rich, such an incredible build-up. I mean, the Liebestod of Tristan and Isolde is
beautiful.
Such a high point in the classical music oeuvre.
And the that we're bleeping that out. That's swearing.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to share with everyone a little extract of Maria Callas's Isolde. Isotta.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You need to stop doing these things like we're on the radio. And now, Tristan and Isolde. Maria Callas has got she's got such a distinctive voice, but it's also quite a, divisive voice?
Divisive for sure. And lots of people will say, the actual tone of her voice is not pretty. It's not
It's about the
cinematographer.
character.
It's very much it got a dramatic intensity to it, and there's almost like a kind of what lots of people have said about her is that her voice has this kind of almost metallic quality.
Yeah, I see
which I
that.
think is a really interesting thing to say about somebody.
Worth a listen.
And it's what people said often. It's what people said often about
You can see.
the kind of big sopranos of the 19th century as well, that they had this kind of incredible metallic quality to their voice, that they could approach these very difficult roles like Elvira in I Puritani or Lucia di Lammermoor, these kind of coloratura roles with a lot of kind of
Quite piercing.
dramatic punch. Yeah, you need that kind of piercing
Piercing
quality
through.
and an exact kind of tone that's very kind of pure.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And so I think it's interesting as well. Her big story was her rise to fame involved her singing, I think it was Elvira in I Puritani and Brunhilde in one of the Wagners in the same week.
One of the
In the same week, and her being able to do that, was it a great choice for her voice? No. But could she do it, and was it amazing? Absolutely.
Oh, you wouldn't get away with that now.
You wouldn't get away
No,
with
you
that
would
now,
not.
would you? We're putting people in boxes. But
that is another thing.
yes, this is a kind of taste of that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us.
Sorry.
I have to.
Sorry. We'll also get a third camera one day. You'll see us in wide shot.
You will. Oh my God, you're not ready.
You're not ready.
We're actually in different countries.
We're not even in the same room.
No way.
We've actually recorded these at different times.
Exactly. We can't.
I record it first, and then you
it's in
record
our
us reacting
contract.
to me. I leave pauses for you to talk. And then I was like, he'll probably say something
COVID
silly
times.
then.
Yeah.
So when I respond with, God, Alex, just an assumption.
What do you like?
Just an assumption.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for watching, and do email me or us, message us, comment, subscribe, leave us a cute little review, a nice one, please,
Yes.
on
Positive
wherever you
comment.
do your podcasts, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Bye.